Okay, welcome to Addis Accounting e-learning channel. In our previous class, we will see we see or we learned business, the definitions of business, then business organization, types of business organization, form of business organization, and the role of accounting, then the users of accounting finally. The users of accounting information. Now we can begin or we see characteristics of accounting information. As you see from this screen, accounting information is mainly quantitative expressed in many terms. Then to be useful for decision making, accounting information should be reliable. The first characteristic of accounting information should be reliable, relevant, understandable, objectivity, consistency. Reliable means it represents fact. Reliable is represent fact. Accuracy, complete, which means nothing important thing is missing, and free of material errors. Reliable kan jennuuni dhugaamessa ka ta'e sirriitti kan hojii isaa wanni isaa ta important thing, nothing important is missing. Wanni barbaachisu kamiyyuu misirraa kan taanee fi dogongora kan qabne yoo ta'e information sun reliable. We can say reliable. Reliable ማለት represent fact የሆነው ከእውነታ ያራቀ ያለቀለት ጉዳይ ምንም አይነት ጠቃሚ ነገሮች ያልቀሩ እና ስህተት የሌላቸው። relevant means highly related to and make a difference in decision. Related የሆነው understandable means the users of that accounting information are reasonable knowledge of accounting and economic activity should be able to easily understand. It is easily understandable and interpret that information. That is called understandable. That is characteristic of financial information is objectivity, which means financial information should be unbiased. That means financial statements are prepared and reported in a neutral way, free from anything. Then the others are consistent. It's all about applying the same accounting policy or method throughout the year. Reliability, relevance, objective, consistency, and understandability are commonly called the qualitative. This is a qualitative characteristic or attributes that make accounting information useful for decision making. Other concept next to characteristic of accounting information. The first one is characteristic, as I say, characteristic of accounting information. Then next, bookkeeping with accounting. Bookkeeping with accounting. What is bookkeeping? Bookkeeping refers to the art of recording. Simply refers to the art of recording and prescribed in a systematic way the economic activity of an organization. It is a written and clerical. ራውተን jechuun kan baratan የተለመደ and clerical ግልጽ በሆነ and their nature. Accounting on other hand goes beyond bookkeeping and concerned with designing, which means designing accounting and reporting system, recording economic activity, preparing report and statement, interpreting reported information, interpret reported information and reviewing records and reports for the quality. Thus can be safely concluded that bookkeeping is one and the simplest part of accounting. Bookkeeping is one and the simplest part of accounting. Professions of accounting. Professions of accounting are: the accounting is an occupation which requires advanced education and special training, which means namni tokko accounting gaafa xumure eessatti apply gochuu kan danda'u eessa hojjetu danda'a kan jedhu private accountant and public accountant ta'ee hojjetu danda'a. Dhaabbata dhuunfaa keessatti privately hojjetu danda'a. ፐብሊክሊ ሊሰራ ይችላል ማለት ነው። ቢፈካናሎጂ ቱ ደንዳ እነ ብራሞ ስፔሻላይዝድ ፊልድስ ኦፍ አካውንቲንግ ነው as you see from screen. Financial accounting it's area of accounting aimed at serving information needs for external users, and managerial accounting fields of accounting concerned with the serving information needs of internal users. The others fields of accounting, cost accounting, it's a managerial accounting activity designed to help managers in the identifying, measuring, controlling operating costs. The others fields of accounting, tax accounting. These fields of accounting that includes preparing tax return and planning future transaction to minimize. The others evolutions of accounting, which means accounting is highly affected by the economic, socially, culturally, legally, technological, and the political development of society. Higher level economic, higher levels of social, cultural, legal, technological, and the political development of society need more elaborated and sophisticated account system aligned with the changes in the aforementioned environment factors. Accounting has evolved through several phases. These phases may be grouped into two measures, which means primitive and modern. Primitive means accounting is believed to have begun about 40,000 before Christ or BC. At this stage, accounting was identified to be unsystematic. During this stage, during primitive, during this time, accounting was identified to be unsystematic and it is incomplete. Information again can government primitive traditional way, no modern amaya is a makan. This is a modern accounting emerges with the inventions of the double entry accounting system. Double entry accounting system ምንለው debit and credit ተጠቅመን የምንመዘግበው, which means dual, commonly called debit and credit accepted so financial report ይላቸዋል. The other point are general accepted accounting principles, which means GAAP, which means United States of general accepted accounting principles, and IFRS ነው እንኩ ወን ኩኒን ማላለታ general accepted accounting principles kan jennuuni won kunni standard accounting hojii isaatiin gaggeessuu jechuudha. Standard kun as dura gaappitu ture, amma immoo international financial reporting IFRS kan jedhu jira. Kanaaf seerota kanneen lamaanidha ka accounting hojii isaa gaggeeffatu jechuudha. Kanneen irratti hundaa'uudhaanidha hojii isaa gaggeeffatu jechuudha. So እነኚህ የምታነቡት ናቸው። እቺ ፓርቲ የምትነበብ ፓርቲ ነች። ዩኒት ኦፍ ሜጀርመንት አሰፕሽን የምነበቡ ናቸው። ዘን ኔክስት ቢዝነስ ትራንሳክሽን ኤንድ አካውንቲንግ ኢኩዌሽን the next concept are business transaction and accounting equations. Before discuss about business transactions and accounting equation, the elements of financial statement are, or we define the elements of financial statement. Then financial statement means are the items that are recorded in the accounting records and then reported on the commonly called financial statements of business entity reports. The elements of financial statement includes the elements of financial statement are includes the first asset, second liability, third capital, then revenue force and expense. Those are the elements of financial statement. Then financial position are, there are three elements that directly measure the financial position, which means the first three elements, asset, liability, and the capital, are the first three elements that directly measure for financial position, which means for balance sheet. The first one is asset. An asset. Asset is meaning of asset. Asset is a resource. It is a resource. Asset itself a resource. A resource. A resource. Controlled by an entity as a result of past event, and from which future economic benefits are accepted to flow to the entity. That's called an asset. To say one element is an asset, to categorize one element as an asset, they must be fulfilled three characteristics. The first two characteristics of an asset are have embedded future economic benefit, and controlled by entity, and result from past transaction or events. Elementii tokkoon asset jechuudhaa fi amaloota asiin gadii sadan kana fiil gochuu qaba. Isa kana guutuu qaba jechuudha. Amalli kun future benefit, economic benefit qabaachuu qaba. Gara fuula duraatti itti fayyadamuu danda'uu qabna. Wanti tokkoon asset jechuun resource jennee, resource jechuun qabeenya nuti kenna jennee fudhanna. Maal ta'uu qaba? Gara fuula duraatti nu fayyaduu qaba tokko. Lammaffaa immoo kaampaanii sanaan control ta'uu qaba jechuun kaampaanii sanaan to'atamuu qaba. Sadeessoo immoo result from past transaction or event. Isa kana yoon qabna har'a osoo hin taane har'a dura kan dhufu, har'aan dura kan finne ta'uudha qaba. Yoo kana ta'e kana sadiin kan guutu ta'e that element is called an asset jechuu dandeenya. Asset ለማለት ሶስት ነገሮችን ለማሟላት አለብን። ንብረት ነው፣ አንድ ነገር ንብረት ነው ብለን ለመቆጠር ግዴታ ምንድነው? ለወደፊት ሊጠቅመን ይገባል፣ ልንጠቀመው ይገባል። ለወደፊት የምንጠቀመው ከሆነ ዛሬው ደግሞ በእኛ ቁጥጥር ስር በካምፓኒ ቁጥጥር ስር ካለና ካለፈው ትራንሳክሽን የመጣው ካለፈው ኤክስቼንጆች የመጣ ከሆነ አን አሴት ማለት እንችላለን ነው። ይሄ ነው ካርሶት ኦፍ አን አሴት እዚህ ላይ እንዳያችሁ። Next element is of financial position or liability. It's a present obligation of the entity arising from past event. It is a present obligation, entity arising from past events. The settlement of the which is expressed to result in an outflow from the entity of resource embedded economic benefit. As an asset, it is a present obligation. Liabilities present obligation አሁን የመክፈል ግዴታ ያለብን አማንተን ከፍል ፍድር ከመከቀም rather from past event ካለፈው ትራንሳክሽን የመጣ and ወደፊት ደግሞ ከንብረታችን የሚቀንስ ሲሆን ይሄ ምን እንላለን? liability or ኢዳ ዮካን በእኛና መከፈሉ ቀም ኢዳኑ ረጅሩ የቹ ካናን liability ጀናኔ ጀቹ ኤሌመንቲን ቶኮ liability ጀቹዳፍ ካራክተሪስቲክ ካናሰዲ ጉቱ ቀባ present obligation ተው ቀባ አማ ከፈሉዳፍ ድርቀማ ከቀኑ ተው ቀባ አሁን ለመክፈል ግዴታ ያለብን ዘን ወደፊት ደግሞ ቢ ላይ ያለውን አንብቦት result in future outflow of resource ገረፍ ወለድራት ደግሞ ምን ነው የሚሆን? አሁን የመክፈል ግዴታ ያለብን፣ ሁለተኛ ላይ ደግሞ ወደፊት ከንብረታችን የሚቀንስ ዘንድ ሪዛልት ፍሮም ፓስት ኢቨንት ከባለፈው ትራንሳክሽን የመጣ በፊት ካረግናቸው ነገሮች የመጣ እነኚህ ክራይቴሪያ ካሟላ that is called liability ይሆናል ማለት ነው። liability ተይጀቹላ ፈከኛ liability ካንታውን payment of cash ነው። ካሽ እንከፍላለን። ከአሴት payment for the future outflow of resource የሚሆነው payment of cash. This is also outflow of resource ነው። transfer of other asset ከሆነ also outflow of resource. provisions of service ከሆነ service የምንሰጥ ከሆነ replacement of that obligation with the another obligation ከሆነ and it is also outflow of resource. conversion of obligation to equity የሚሆን ከሆነ also it is outflow ናቸው ማለት ነው። then others these three are the first asset, then liability and equity are or capital are an element of financial position. Equity is a residual interest in the assets of an entity after deducting all its liability, which means as equity equal to or capital equal to asset minus liability. ከአጠቃላይ ካለን አሴቶች ያሉ ኢዳዎችን ሊያብሊቲዎችን ቀንሰን የምናገኘው ኢኩዊቲ ይባላል። ወኑ ተነረጀራ አሴቱ ተጉቱም አሴት ነው ተቀኑ ቀበኝ ነው ተቀኑ ህርቂሱ እዳ ነው ተቀኑ ወኒ ነው ታርገነሱን ኢኩዊቲ ዮካን ካፒታል ይጀናማ ሐዋሳርክ ከነት ታፍሰንጆ it is also defined as a resource contributed by and belong to the owners of a business. ይሄ በኦነሩ ኮንትሪቢዩት የተደረገና በኦነሩ ቁጥጥር ስር ያለው ካፒታሎች ሁሉ ኢኩዊቲ ኦር ኦነርስ ካፒታል ይባላል። ኔክስት ፋይናንሻል ፐርፎርማንስ። ይሄ ኢንካም እንደ ፕሮፊትን ያካትታል። ፍሮም ኤሌመንትስ ኦፍ ፋይናንሻል ስቴትመንት ከፋይናንሻል ስቴትመንቱ ፕሮፊት is frequently used as a measure of performance. As a measure of performance or as a basis for the other measures such as return on investment or earning per share. The elements directly related to the measurement of profit are income and expenses. Income represents revenue and expenses. Then income is increase and an economic benefit. Income is increase in an economic benefit. Income represents revenue biyacho. Don't forget. Ndagatana. Income revenue bakabu. This is increase in economic benefit during the accounting period in the form of inflow or enhancement of asset or decrease of liability that result in increase in equity other than those relating to contribution from the equity participant. The definition of income encompasses both revenue and gains. Income is contain revenue and gains ያካትታል ማለት ነው። ጌን ትርፍ ይችላል። Revenue are the courses of the ordinary activity of an entity and is referred to by variety of different names include sales ሊሆን ይችላል, which means source of revenue ማለት እንችላለን። sales, fees, interest, dividend, royalty, rent እነኚህ ሁሉ በአጠቃላይ ምን ይባላሉ? income or revenue ይባላሉ። revenue may be generated from different activity, which means source of revenue ማለት ነው። different terms may be used to refer them accordingly. Below are some examples. From selling finished goods such as food or clothing items, stationery, machine or sales. From sales, from providing transportation service, first revenue. From providing professional service such as auditing, legal, medical, fees earned. From lending money, interest income, which is called interest income. From leasing or renting property, rent or royalty income. From providing broker service, commission income. Then gains represent other items that meet the definitions of income and may or may not arise in the courses. Expense and others elements of financial performance or income statement are expense. Expense are decreasing an economic benefit. Revenue or income are increasing in economic benefit. In opposite, expenses are decreased in economic benefit during the accounting period. Expenses are the opposite of revenue, don't forget. So it is decrease an economic benefit during the accounting period in the form of outflow, but revenue is in the form of inflow or depletion of asset or incurrence of liability that results decrease in equity. Revenue are increase in equity, but expenses are decrease in equity other than those related to distribution equity participant. The definition of expense encompasses loss. The definitions of revenue are encompass gain. The definition of expenses are loss, as well as those expenses that arise the courses of ordinary activity of entity. Expenses that arise the course of ordinary activity of the entity include, for example, costs of sales, wage expense, cost of goods sold, expired cost, finished goods result from the sales of goods to the customers, supplies expense, supplies expense, which means represent costs of supplies consumed. የተጠቀምነው ነው። supplies ገዝተን ያልተጠቀምነው ሳይሆን የተጠቀምናቸው ምንድነው የሚባሉ ኤክስፔንሶች ይባላሉ። ምን አይነት ኤክስፔንስ? supply expense. utility expense represent value of utility services consumed. utility expense ማለት ለውሃ ያወጣ ነው፣ ለኤሌክትሪክ ያወጣ ነው። አጠቃላይ እንዲህ አይነቶቹ ምን ይባላል? ዩቲሊቲ ኤክስፔንስ። ዌጅ ኦር ሳላሪ ኤክስፔንስ። ሳላሪ ኤክስፔንስ ለደሞዝተኞች ወረዳ በታን ቀጨረሽ ከከፈል ሳላሪ ኤክስፔንስ ይጀደማ። ዌጅ ኤክስፔንስ ደግሞ ወረ ጉያ ሆጀታ ለቀን ሰራተኞች የከፈል ነው ዌጅ ሳላሪ ዌጅ ኤክስፔንስ ሶሪ። ለቋሚ ሰራተኞች የከፈል ነው ሳላሪ ኤክስፔንስ ይባላሉ። ኤክስፔንሶቹ እነኚህ ታይፖች አላቸው። ሬንት ኤክስፔንስ የምንለው ደግሞ ለክራይ፣ ለዛ ለህንፃ ክራይ፣ ለምን ክራይ፣ ለብዙ አይነት ክራዮች ያወጣ ነው። አጠቃላይ ምን ይባላል? ሬንት ኤክስፔንስ ይባላል ማለት ነው። ሚስላኒየስ ኤክስፔንስ ደግሞ value of goods or service consumed but minor enough in amount to be classified as of above types of examples. ሚስላኒየስ ኤክስፔንስ የምንላቸው ወጪ አድርገን አንደር ኮስት ኦፍ ጉድ ሶልድ ላይ መመደብ ያልቻልነው፣ ሳፕላይ ኤክስፔንስ ስር ለመመደብም ያስቸገረን፣ ዩቲሊቲ ላይ ለመመደብ፣ ሳላሪ ኤክስፔንስ ላይ፣ ኢንትረስት ኤክስፔንስ ላይ፣ ሬንት ኤክስፔንስ ላይ ለመመደብ ያልቻልነውን ሚስላኒየስ ኤክስፔንስ ብለን ነው የምንመደበው ማለት ነው። ኢንዳይሬክት ወጪ አልከለቴም ባን እንኳን ባሲ አልከለቴም ባን ሚስላኒየስ ኤክስፔንስ ጀናን ጀቻል። The other concepts are business transaction. Business transaction are economic activity. It is economic activity. It is economic activity. Sorry. It is an economic activity and the activity of a business that brings monetary changes in its asset, liability, capital, revenue, expense, and it should be recorded in the accounting records of the business. A transaction can be an event or exchange such as the purchase or sales of property. Purchase ማለት ገዢ sales ሽያጭ፣ payment or collection ለፐርቼሱ የምንከፍለው ፔይመንት ኦር ኮሌክሽን ለሴልሱ ከሴልሱ ደግሞ የምንሰበስባት ነገር ነች ማለት ነው። between two or more party ነው ቢዝነስ ትራንሳክሽን የሚካሄደው ከሁለትና በሁለት አካል መካከል ነው። a transaction can also be a condition that has some effect as an exchange transaction but doesn't involve an exchange transaction. Some examples of not exchange transaction are loss from fire, not exchange የምንላቸው ማለት ነው። that transaction are loss from fire, flood, physical wear and tear on equipment, donation of property and so forth. For a given transaction to qualify to be recorded, it has been ትራንሳክሽኖተን ውከናማን ቶኮ galmaa'u jennee murteessisaaf kiraateeriyaan jalqaba goosuu qabu to be related to the business enterprise, to be related with that business enterprise. enterprise chokan company sanaan related ta'uu qabu, transaction company sana keessa gaggeeffame ta'uu qabu. and tokkoffaa. lammaffaa to be measurable in terms of money. ማን ta'uu qaba? ሜጀር ta'uu qaba bifa in terms of money birridhaan yookaan qarshiidhaan. to be completed or happened action waan xumurame ta'uu qaba completed and it must be supported by source of document. በሶርስ የተደገፈ መሆን አለበት። that means it should not be mere promise or intention. It must be at least partial completed to be recorded. ይሄ ማለት ምንድነው? ዋዳን እንገልመው ወንገልመው ቀቡ ዋን ጦሙረመ ሆጀተመውን ራወታን ድርቀመ ገልመው ቀባ ጀቹ then business transaction may be categorized as external or internal function business transaction in jirusun wono to gefamu qabusun internal or external tawdanda externally kan jennuni refer to exchange of goods and service between a business organization and an outside party ከውጭ ካሉት ጋር የሚደረገው ኤክስቼንጆች ኤክስተርናሊ ነው ከውጭ አካል ጋር such as individually or others organization ሊሆን ይችላል which means buying telephones service from etc selling goods to customers purchasing vehicle from Niala Motors ከሌላ ካምፓኒዎች ጋር የሚደረገው ትራንሳክሽኖች ኤክስተርናል ነው እቹን ትራንሳክሽንን ይዶላ መቆደማ ኤክስተርናል ለፊ ኢንተርናል ይጀነቆና ኤክስተርናል ካጀኖኒም ከካምፓኒ ሰብራውጅን ፈከኛ ፊ ካምፓኒን ከን ኤቢሲ ካምፓኒ ዮተኤ ኤቢሲ ካምፓኒ ተኤ ካምፓኒ ኖት ከሰውጀቹ ጅሩፍ ካምፓኒ ኖት ትራንሳክሽን ይሳው ጀኖፊ አቺሙ ካምፓኒን ከነው ትራንሳክሽን ይሰብራ ሜሻ ሰብራ ኤክስ ዋይ ዘድ ራዮቢት ኤክስ ዋይ ዘድ ራ ኤክስ ዋይ ዘድ ካምፓኒ ራ ዮካቢቱ ተኤ ትራንሳክሽን ኢን ኤክስ ዋይ ዘድ ወጅን ኤቢሲ ካምፓኒ ትራንሳክሽን ኢን ኤክስ ዋይ ዘድ ወጅን ገገሱ ኤክስተርናል ትራንሳክሽን ጀዳማ ጀቹ ኢንተርናል ትራንሳክሽን kan jennuun immoo ABC ካምፓኒን ifjala ዲፓርትመንቶች አዳዳ ቀባ ዋይ ዲፓርትመንት ቀባ ዋይ ዲፓርትመንት ቀባ ኤክስ ዲፓርትመንት ቀባ ዘድ ዲፓርትመንት ያደቀባ ከናፊ ኤክስ ኢፍ ዋይ ወለራ ABC ጀላት ኤክስ ኢፍ ዋይ ወለራ ትራንሳክሽን ገራገራው ከገገሰን ተየተ ኢንኩኒ ኢንተርናሊ ጀዳማ ጀቹ refer to consumptions of goods and services within the business entity business you አችመቶጅን ከገገሱ ይችላል which do not affect external party ማይነካ ሌላ ካምፓኒን ማይነካው ማለት ነው example use of previous purchases stationery matters fuel office machine ከሌላ ዲፓርትመንት ጋር ያለው ማለት ነው business transaction it may also be simple or complex simpleም complexም ሊሆን ይችላል next concepts are accounting equation what is accounting equation accounting equation is as you see it is a mathematical expression that shows relationship between asset it is mathematical expressions that shows the relationship between asset between asset between liability between capital that is called accounting equation or asset equal to liability plus owner's equity this is an accounting equation below are three but fundamental the same ways of explaining the relationship between elements of financial statement resource equal to equities or claims to resource or asset equal to liability plus owner's equity or asset minus liability is equal to owner's equity this is an accounting equation is mathematical expression and account biferregatin kaifamu fi hariro asseti liability fi ownership equity giddu jiru kara seerregatin kanu ibsu kanachun asseti ni ta'a liability edew ownership equity kaifamu jechu kanan accounting equation ይጀናን jechu dan business transaction and accounting equation አጠቃላይ ይሄን ይመስልና ሌላም when below are sample transaction and their effect on the elements of financial statement we have 5 elements of financial statement as we see in our previous the first are asset then liability owner's equity or capital revenue and expense those are the elements of financial statement then during the recording there are a sample the transaction and their effect collection of resource from owners maybe during the collection owners in the form of investment miracle if the owners are invest some asset that transaction is ኢንክሪዝ ቦዝ አሴት እንደ ካፒታል ኢንክሪዝ ያደርጋል ማለት ነው። ኢንክሪዝ ያደርጋል ከናቹኒ ኦነሪን ቶኮ ዳበተ መታሳ yoo banatu mangoda ካሽ ሰነ ኢንቨስት ጎድ ጋፋ ካሽ ኢንቨስት ጎድ አሴቲን ሳ ኢንክሪዝ ሳ ጎዳ ካፒታሊን ሳስ ኢንክሪዝ ሳ ጎዳ jechuudha. ካሽን አካውንት ሰረሳ ገላ እንደብራሞ ቀበኝ ሳ ከንፈሳ ካፒታሊን ሳ ኢንክሪዝ ጎዳ jechuudha. ካምብራሞ in the form of credit or loan wanti tokko meeshaa tokko yookaan birrillee yookaan liqeeffatu ta'e meeshaallee yookaan liqaan bitu ta'e kunis increase both side asset and liability increase ያደርጋል. fakkeenyaaf an birrii liqeeffadhe haa jennu liqii irratti gaafa liqii sana birrii liqeeffadhe sun asseetii jalatti elementii asseetii jalaa kaashii increase naa gooti kaashiin naa dabala achi immoo liability jala elementii taanee jiru jala liability san jala immoo maalidha kan isin increase gootu account payable yookaan loan payable yoo dheerate isa sanniin increase gooti jechuudha. waan akkasii sun maanta increase gootu generally waan kana dubbisu qabdan waan kana generally maanbብ አለባችሁ. and exchange for goods and service sold to them yoo ka gurguramu ta'e jechuudha. sales ደግሞ ምንድነው የሚያደርገው increase both asset and revenue ይጨምራል. ሶል ከሆነ ካሽ ይጨምርልናል በካሽ ሸጠን ከሆነ ዮ ካሽን ጉርጉረተ ካሽን ወደበላ ደን ሬቬኑን ከነስን ወደበላ ሴልስ ፍሮም ሬቬኑ ይደመ ይጨምርልናል ማለት ነው። then consumptions of the goods and services such as previously purchased supplies stationery materials fuels then increase expense መጀል ቀበረ ፈከኛው ሰፕሌን ዱራን ነው ተብለቶ ጋፋ ፈየደምኑ ማልታ expense inu tedabala increase expense inu wala and decrease asset inu raganasa asset meesha sana waan fayyadane meesha sana ra hedisa jechuudha. utility housing ሊሆን ይችላል employee service ተውደንዳ for which money is not yet paid at that time አልተከፈለም ጋፋዳ ከንፈሉ increase both expense ይጨምራል then liability ይጨምራል ስላልተከፈለ liability ይጨምራል expense ደግሞ already ስለምንጠቀሙ ይጨምርልናል ማለት ነው። so ሌላ ፋይናንሻል ስቴትመንቱ ጋር እንመጣና ፋይናንሻል ስቴትመንቱ ጋር ስትመጡት ወንስ አደባችን ይበው ወደ ፋይናንሻል ስቴትመንት ኤሌመንትስ ኦፍ ፋይናንሻል ስቴትመንት ይበው አደባችን ኤሌመንትስ ኦፍ ፋይናንሻል ስቴትመንት ሻናንሰኒ ዘን ታይፕስ ኦፍ ፋይናንሻል ስቴትመንት አደባታኒ ይበው ወዱ ጀቹ ኤሌመንትስ ኦፍ ፋይናንሻል ስቴትመንት አሴት ኤሌመንት አሴት liability ownership revenue and expense. This is the elements of financial statement. The other types of financial statement: income statement, statement of change in ownership equity, balance sheet, and cash flow statement. This is the types of financial statement. At the base at the back, elements of financial statement and types of financial statement. Elements of financial statement, as I told you before. Elements of financial statement: asset, liability, owner's equity, then revenue and expense. These are elements of financial statement. Types of financial statement: income statement, which means performance of financial performance, or a statement of change in owner's equity, balance sheet, financial position, and cash flow statement. Those are types of financial statement. Financial statement. When we prepare balance sheet we can prepare through two form: report form and account form. Which means report form means list asset first, followed by the liability and the capital. መጀመሪያ አሴቶቹ ሊስት ማድረግ then followed by liability by capital writing for this is reporting form ነው accounting form ነው list asset in the left side አሴቶቹ left side ላይ ሊስት ማድረግና liability and capital right side ላይ መዘርዘር በዚህ accounting form ይባላል ማለት ነው። others are statement of cash flow. It is used to provide information about source and use of cash. Source, from where we get cash, and use of cash, why we use cash. over the specific profile of time such as means year ሊሆን ይችላል ማለት ነው። then as you see this is all about our today's class. Next we begin examples of business transaction. Example 1. So thank you for your attention. አመሰግናችኋለሁ። ተባረኩልኝ። ጉዶ ገለቶማ አስረዳምና የሮታኑሞ fakkeenyota kana wal qabatan akkami akka galmeessin akkamitti akka financial statement keenya qopheessinu waliin ilaalla. Galatooma eebbifama wayyama yeroo gaarii yeroo ta'anu fakkeenyota wal argina. Example 1 as you see from this screen akka screen kana argu jirtan example 1 dirra yeroo ta'anu tufufna example kun akkamitti akka hojjetamu sirrii waliin ilaalla jechuudha. Transaction torbaan jira torbas akkami galmeessin eegalmeessin akkami summarized goon achimo financial statement keenya akkami qopheessin elementi financial statement adda baasa type financial statement adda baafadha qabadha irra sini deebi'uuf elements of financial statement kan jennu elementiin asset liability owners equity or capital revenue and expense are the element of financial statement. Types of financial statement kan jennu income statement, balance sheet statement, owners equity statement and cash flow statement እነኚህን እንሰራቸዋለን። ወልፋዳ ገለቶማ የሮጋሪ አመሰግናችኋለሁ። Thank you.